Okay, so this is the final day of review, and what I want to go over is the last few problems that we have. So, this was not written on here, guys, but on 51 and 52, go ahead and write the word proof, and I'm going to go over number 52 here. Okay, so when I see the word proof, that tells me that I cannot touch one of these sides. Okay, so we're going to choose this side over here. This is the answer. Okay, now everything I do from here on, guys, I'm not going to touch this side. Okay, this is what has to equal at the end of the problem. So here, there's a couple things that I want to see here. I have to the power of 4. So when I have to the power of 4, guys, I have a bunch of identities, and none of them are to the 4th power. But one key is right here. This is -1. So if I have a -1 in there, I can use this property where I have a 1 and a 1. And these are going to be opposite signs. One's positive, one's negative. And I'm going to put cosine and cosine squared. Okay, so that's just the top part. I rewrote it like that. And I'm going to put the bottom part as sine squared, because that's what it equals. Okay, and again, this right here does not equal that just yet. Okay, so we still need some work to do. But what I see in the top, cosine squared -1, cosine squared +1, okay, I see a squared and I see a 1, so I could potentially use excuse me, one of the Pythagorean identities, and I know that I have cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. Okay, so if I move the 1 to the other side, it starts looking like this. Cosine squared -1 plus sine squared equals 0. Okay, again, starting to look like this one right here. So what I would need to do here is now subtract sine squared. So these cancel. Cosine squared -1 equals negative sine squared. Okay, so instead of writing cosine squared -1, I'm going to write negative sine squared. So negative sine squared cos squared +1 over sine squared, and I see the sine squares cancel. So I'm left with negative cosine squared +1. Okay, again, guys, this still does not look like that. So what I'm going to do, now I have cosine squared again, I'm going to use the same property again, because I want it to look like a sine squared. And if I want it to equal cosine squared, I'm going to move the sine to the other side. So now I'm replacing cos squared with 1 minus sine squared. So this is a negative on the outside. 1 minus sine squared plus 1. Okay, I'm going to keep continuing to simplify here. So 1 plus 1 is 2 minus sine squared. Distribute the negative, so this becomes -2 plus sine squared. Okay, it's not in the same order, but now it equals that. So now I've shown all my work to get to that point. So this is the final answer for that. Okay, now I do want you to make a couple corrections on these problems here. Number 34, number 35, number 36. They should look like this. And what we're going to change here is, or what I want you to pay attention here, when it says in the interval 3 pi to 2 pi, 270 to 360, means the same thing. Now I'm going to draw off to the side over here. If I was looking at the unit circle. Oops. Okay, remember we have 0 degrees here, or 0 radians. This is 90 degrees, or 3 pi over 2 radians. 180 degrees, or pi radians, and 270 degrees and 3 pi over 2 radians. Okay, so that's the breakdown of the unit circle in terms of degrees and radians. Okay, so if I come back here, if it's telling me it's 270 to 360, that means that this is the quadrant I'm looking at, quadrant 4. So if I were to draw a triangle here, remember I'm doing the unit circle, it would look something like that. So I'm going to go back over here and make a triangle. Make it look like this. Now, they gave me some info here. Secant equals 3. So I know that secant is equal to h over a, which they told me is 3, so I can make this 3 divided by 1. So my a here is going to be 1. My h is equal to 3. And my o, I'm going to find it. And I know because it's going down, it is negative. It can be a negative number. So we'll use this, find it using the Pythagorean theorem. So it's going to be, this is the hypotenuse, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a is, we'll say 1 squared, b is o, which I don't know, so b squared equals 3 squared. Okay, so continue solving. 1 plus b squared equals 9. Subtract 1, subtract 1. B squared equals 8. Square root this thing. B is equal to the square root of 8. So this is negative square root of 8. So if I want to know tangent, that's what it's asking me to find. Tangent is O over A. So it's negative square root of 8 over 1. Go back up here. Sine is equal to O over H. So negative square root of 8 over H, which is 3. Okay, so again, guys, go ahead and make these changes to the other two problems. And you're going to work them out very similar to what you guys just saw right here.